All right, Shalom. First, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, by Hashem Yahweh Shai, by Hashem Rachak Wadash. Double honors to the apostles of Great Millstone, and peace and blessings to the elect. This lesson is going to be, dealing with the bitterness, of the truth, or the bitterness of this walk or this ministry, which happens to all of us. All right, at some point or another. Okay, because as I'm going to read here in the book of Revelation. When you first come into this truth, all right, for a period of time, it's sweet. You're in that state of excitement. You're in the infatuation stage. You're finding out new things. Whoa, what? I'm an Israelite. The name of the Most High is Yahweh, and His Son is Yahweh Shai. Oh, they're not Edomites. They're not white. They're shoot. Oh, spiritual power. Oh, we're gonna get the kingdom. All these different things. That's all a part of the sweetness, okay? But then comes the bitterness, okay, which is when the journey really starts, which is when out of that excitement you're telling everybody, but then they turn on you. They start looking at you different. You know, your parents try to stop you and then try to get you out of it. They think it's some phase that you're going through. People start disassociating themselves from you or with you, okay? You realize that you have to go out on the highways and byways, and there's barely anybody ever listening. You become a quote unquote public enemy. All these things are part of the bitterness, and then that patience. The scriptures say, in your patience possess ye your souls. That patience of having to wait, having to endure, now being woken up, knowing what heaven could be like when you're living in hell. Being conscious that you're in hell while you're in it. Having to look at all these things happen on the earth, man, all these different abominations. That is all a part of the bitterness. But you know what, though? And also that catching hell, man. All right. There are different trials, all right, and obstacles, whether financial or mental or physical infirmities or whatever it is. They will come, man. They're supposed to. But see, the bitterness is when it really starts, man. Because the bitterness is what makes or breaks you. All right. This is Revelation 10, verse 9. And I went unto the angel, and he said unto him, Give me the little book. And he said unto me, Take it, and eat it up, and it shall make thy belly bitter, but it shall be in thy mouth sweet as honey. So I took the little book out of the angel's hand and ate it up. Now this is metaphorical, as representing the scriptures, all right, and eating it, is you accepting the word. All right. And what happens when you eat something? You digest it. You break it down. All right. So it goes into your mouth, and that's where you really taste it. And then as you're chewing and you're digesting, it's going down, and then it hits your stomach. So it says, and I ate it, and it was in my mouth sweet as honey. And as soon as I had eaten it, my belly was bitter. So after you digest it, okay, after you've woken up to this truth, and 6 months to a year go by, and you really you're starting to digest the scriptures, then you start feeling that bitterness. You start getting that more serious look in your eyes. You start understanding why when you first heard this word, you heard brothers talk about the 2/3 and how the world is in wickedness. Now you start really understanding it. Now the feeling is mutual. All right. And then verse 11 says, and he said unto me, Thou must prophesy again before many peoples and nations and tongues and kings. And when he said this to John, the apostle John was already old. Okay. And there's no record of him leaving that island to go and prophesy, okay, onto many people and nations and tongues and kings. But why did the angel say this to John? It was because he was alluding to the future. All right, something called reincarnation. Okay, so he was telling John that in the future, all right, when he comes back, he was going to have to do the same thing, because as a prophet in the past, you'd be a prophet now. Okay, your job doesn't change. Your spirit has been created to be a prophet and to prophesy. So it doesn't matter what time period it's in, you know? Just like an addition sign. It doesn't matter what equation you put the addition sign in, it's gonna do what? It's gonna add, or multiplication or division. Okay? So the point is the bitterness, all right, is a part of this truth, man. And sometimes it gets really, really, really bitter, but that's when you have to eat it, swallow it up, and keep it pushing. Okay? It's a balance, man. You can't just have it all smooth sailing. The scriptures say a false balance is an abomination to the Most High. All right. So next precept, this is Ecclesiasticus, chapter 2, verse 1. My son, if thou come to serve the Lord, prepare thy soul for temptation. All right. Because temptation are what? Different trials and adversities to try you, to prove you. So you have to come prepared, man. Because the Lord doesn't just allow anybody in. Set thy heart aright, meaning set your mind right, and constantly endure, and make not haste in time of trouble. Because you got to understand that it's the Most High putting that hell or that trouble upon you. No matter what magnitude it is, He's the one putting it upon you. So don't be too hasty in that time of trouble, man. Do your best to remain spiritual, all right? And like it says, constantly endure. It says here, cleave unto Him and depart not away, that thou mayest be increased at thy last end. Now, an example is you read in the scriptures, and for example, even King David, all right, or any of the other prophets, they'll if they go off, all right, or something bad happens, when they mourn, what do they mourn? It says what they'll rent their clothes, put ashes upon their heads, put or wear sackcloth, and they'd fast. Okay, so in that time of trouble, when you fast, you cleave onto the Lord. All right. You don't try to find another means to appease your pain. You have people that try to eat away their problems or drink away their problems. Those are carnal means. It says, "Depart not away." The first thing you are supposed to do is to seek the Lord. It says that thou mayest be increased at thy last end, because He brings you down, so He's the only one that can bring you back up. Verse 4. Whosoever is Salakia, whatsoever is brought upon thee, take cheerfully, and be patient when thou art changed to a low estate. All right, and that's a very key point right there to keep in mind. When thou art changed to a low estate, that's a part of that bitterness, man. You have to be very, very patient, because you can easily lose your cool, all right, or lose your patience, okay, if you don't hold on to it. All right. Look, man, whatever happens to you, keep in mind that nothing happens without the authorization of the Most High. All right, in the name of Yahushua. So whatever happens to you or whatever you're going through, no matter how bad it may seem, the Lord, at the end of the day, authorized it to happen. So you have to be patient and see what it is. Is it a punishment? Is it a chastisement? All right. Is it a purification? There's always a reason. Okay, but you have to be patient and remain spiritual. All right. It says, "For gold is tried in the fire, and acceptable men in the furnace of adversity." See? So when you're going through that, and you're going through the bitterness, man, that's that fire, all right, and you being that gold, all right, you're putting that fire to purify you, to get all the stains off of you, all right, an acceptable men in the furnace of adversity. So the hell and the bitterness, okay, and the the simple things that make your life more difficult. Those that is that furnace, man. Because once you make it out of that obstacle or that situation, guess what? You're cleaner than you were going into the situation. All right, that's if you make it out, through the faith and the trust in Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai. All right, moving on. This is Hebrews chapter 12. Um, I'll go to verse 5. And ye have forgotten the exhortation which speaketh unto you as unto children. My son, despise not thou the chastening of the Lord, nor faint when thou art rebuked of him. Okay? Because there's going to tell you why. For whom the Lord loveth, he chasteneth, and scourgeth every son whom he receiveth. So if the Lord chastises you, all right, that means he loves you, man, because a father who loves his son or loves his child won't just watch their child do bad things and just say, oh yeah, it's cool. No, they're gonna discipline them so that the child won't do those bad things again. Why? Because it's love. Okay? So the same thing with us. The Lord chastises us to make us better. All right, because he loves us, man. If ye endure chastening, the Most High dealeth with you as with sons. For what son is he whom the Father chasteneth not? See? But if ye be without chastisement, wherefore all are partakers, then are ye bastards and not sons. All right? Furthermore, we have had fathers of our flesh which corrected us, and we gave them reverence. Shall we not much rather be in subjection unto the Father of spirits and live? See? So your fleshly father, your biological father, you know, he might have corrected you, you know, disciplined you, and in the future you reverence him for that. As a child, you might not understand, you might be upset, but in the future you reverence him for that because you're like, yo, I'm grateful for getting my ass beat when I did these bad things, because now I broke that habit and I stopped doing it, and I see why it could have been a problem had it stuck with me into my older ages. All right. So that's with your carnal father. So how much more for the Most High, the spiritual father, man? Because your biological father can only correct you as much as he knows. Okay, and that'll lead you, to a certain extent in your life. But if you're subject to the Most High, guess what? It'll lead you forever, man. Because the scriptures say the word of the Lord is going to be forever, though heaven and earth pass away, yet shall not, the Lord's word pass away. Roughly paraphrasing. All right. Uh, Moving on. This is Wisdom of Solomon, last precept. Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 3, verse. I'll just start at verse 5. And having been a little chastised, they shall be greatly rewarded. For the Most High proved them and found them worthy for himself. So the scriptures say many are called and few are chosen. Because, you got people that will taste it, all right? They'll eat the roll, they'll eat the book. But once they taste that, and it's sweet, and they're thinking it's going to be sweet forever. But once they taste that, they feel that bitterness, all right, in their belly, they can't make it and they can't do it anymore. So they're not worthy. They were called, but they weren't chosen. It says, as gold in the furnace hath he tried them and received them as a burnt offering. Now fire can be used to kill, or it can be used to purify, to make better. All right, but it's based on the material that you put within the fire. If you put paper in the fire, you'll kill the paper. The paper will be burnt. If you put a precious metal, something like gold in there, guess what? It'll come out better. It'll come out shinier, you know? It says, and in the time of their visitation, they shall shine and run to and fro like sparks amongst the stubble. Okay, so I'll end it with this precept here. All right, because we all go through it, man. Romans 8 and 18. For I reckon that the sufferings of this present time are not worthy to be compared with the glory which shall be revealed in us. All right, and I'm gonna end it there. Okay, this is something to keep in mind, man. Okay, what you're going through now, no matter what it is, no matter how bad it seems, guess what? You have an even greater glory, all right, coming ahead. One that nothing you could have gone through on this side can compare to. And it's going to be everlasting. Okay, so remember that always, man. Okay, and maintain the hope, maintain the faith. And when you feeling that bitterness, man, you just swallow it and you keep it pushing, man. All right, you got to be tough, man. That's how you toughen up. Okay, shoulder, don't just just fold up. No, man, you gotta endure. The scriptures talk about he that endureth unto the end, the same shall be saved, man. All right. So with that, I hope this was edifying unto the elect. I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai. Until next time, Shalom.